Hi, Gerry here, and welcome to day 134 of A Course in Miracles. The lesson for today is quite complex, and I'm going to do my best to explain it in just a few minutes, so hopefully that will go well. The title of the lesson is, Let Me Perceive Forgiveness as It Is. And the first part of the text challenges the way that we look at forgiveness and basically says how that's all wrong. We look at forgiveness as, this person did this horrible thing to me. Why would I justify what they did by forgiving them? And we see forgiveness as something that we dole out to other people on a whim. That's much of how we see forgiveness, and we see that in some way, by forgiving another person, we're justifying their actions. And that's not the case at all. This lesson, to understand forgiveness, we have to understand that sin is not real. That yes, people make mistakes, but to call it sin, the Course challenges that. And I agree with that, actually. When we look at the bad things that people do bad things because they're hurting. And to prevent people from doing bad things, we need to heal the hurt. That's really what I believe. It's not just this Course that has convinced me of that. I really enjoy the teachings of the Hungarian-Canadian psychiatrist Gabor Maté. I think it really targets that fact that we do bad things, make mistakes because we're hurting. So that I think the key is to heal the hurt. So, the text talks about the paradox of, truth. It's true that this person hurt me, so therefore I have to decide if I'm going to forgive them or not. Well, not really. There's only one truth, and that's the truth that comes from God. And in the truth that comes from God, we are all God's sacred children. Yes, we make mistakes, but God is all loving. And so forgiveness, of course God forgives. And to even call it sin, like I said, the Course does not call it sin. I thought this part of the text was really beautiful, so I kind of summarized it, but I copied some stuff directly from the text as well and kind of put it in there. But I thought this point that the Course made was really beautiful. It is sin's unreality that makes forgiveness natural and wholly sane, a deep relief to those who offer it, a quiet blessing when it is received. It collects illusions and lays them gently at the feet of truth, and they disappear entirely. That's just a beautiful image. And then it talks about the strength of pardon is its honesty. It sees illusions for what they are, not as truth. They are illusions, they are not truth. It opens the way to truth, which has been blocked by guilt. And to find forgiveness, when we're tempted to accuse somebody, it goes to this idea. Would I accuse myself of doing this? In other words, develop a sense of deep empathy. People do bad things, but it comes out of a place of hurt. So if I had that person's past, would I do that too? Am I doing things to hurt other people as well? Ask ourselves that in all humility. We're not perfect, and why wouldn't we forgive? So I thought this was really beautiful too. Forgiveness stands between illusion and truth like a bridge. Forgiveness sets us free. No need for fear and misery. Aren't fear and misery, especially fear, such a dangerous thing in the world? So today we practice true forgiveness. this lights the way for others to follow. So we take 2 15-minute meditation times, spend it with the guide who understands the meaning of forgiveness. G for guide, capital G for guide, capital W for who, saying that I take that to be God. God, the divine guide, guiding us. So, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Focus on the sins of a sister or brother. Think of what they've done and say, "What I condemn myself for doing this." When I do this, I start to experience relief, fear, and I feel the chains lift from me. And you know what? That is really true. Like, I try to forgive others, but I have to admit there are some people who get on my nerves and who I don't really like to spend time with. I find them really negative and critical. But when I do this, when I develop this sense of empathy and think, if I had that person's past, would I act that way too? This person must be hurting. And that makes forgiveness so easy. This course is changing me. It really is. Like, I thought I was doing really well, but this course is moving me along. But to feel those chains of accusing others, of condemning others, to feel those chains lifting and say, I love you, sister, I love you, brother, and it's all good. You're forgiven. And then when I feel like not forgiving, say, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Would I accuse myself of doing this? I will not lay this chain upon myself. And the next piece, which came at the very end, I thought was really profound. It said, remember, no one is crucified alone, and yet no one can enter heaven by himself. So I take that to mean that, we hurt each other. We do hurt each other. But we're all brothers and sisters, and we all walk into heaven together. So forgive. That's how I took it. That's very much what Jesus said. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. And saying, you will enter God's kingdom with me today. That's so Jesus. And he's really the model that we're to follow. So I hope all of that made sense. I know I went on longer than I usually do, but this lesson was pretty deep and pretty profound, and thank you for listening. May your chains be released as well, brothers and sisters. May you find peace, and God bless you. I look forward to our conversation tomorrow.